Hello everybody and welcome back to Let's Play Aurora 4X C#. One thing I want to mention before we begin is that I did decide in hindsight, you know what? I don't think it's actually possible to armor up a ground unit anywhere near adequately to defend against an orbital bombardment. So I did use Space Master to go ahead and replace the new STOs we designed previously with versions that just had light armor, as opposed to the heavy armor that I had originally given them last time. As a result of that, they are also significantly cheaper. We pull this up. This was something like 8,000 and some odd cost previously. Now it's a little under 3,000. So rather than it taking until, what was it, 2135 or something for these to build, they'll be done in 2126. So, with that out of the way, the plan for this part is to actually hopefully start building our quick reaction force, which is again going to be comprised of just guided missile destroyers and normal destroyers. I'm not 100% certain on how many I want. I haven't really had time to fully flesh that out, I'll admit. If we pull up our guided missile destroyers, they have... where is it? They have 50 missiles each. So what I think I'm gonna do is, you know what? Let's pull up the carrier strike group. How many of these do I have? I have 3 with 2 normal destroyers. I think that is more than sufficient, personally. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead here, unassign to ships, and I'm going to tell you to also use components, should any exist. I know we have components. I don't know if any of them are particularly relevant to your requirements, and I think they're only enough for like 1 ship at best, even if they are. But nonetheless, we're going to go ahead and queue up 3 of these guided missile destroyers. And then 2 of the normal destroyers to serve as a bit of an escort. With that all done, let's go ahead and continue on. Alpha Centauri continues to ship its research labs to Earth so that they can actually do something useful. But that's going to be a while for all of that to finish. Okay, that's always nice. Tekka 007 has arrived around Alpha Centauri. Alpha Centauri does have an STO. It's only 1. So long as that's only the single ship, it's probably fine. But it's certainly not the greatest. And this is actually one that is damaged. Yeah. Well, that's fun. That's a lot of fun. Okay, well then. Also, actually, one thing I do want to check. I didn't really pay attention to it. We are actually over our command here. So 1 second. Let's, hey, I know I told you guys to go ahead and start building these, but slight change of plans. The headquarters that they have is actually insufficient for their size. Do I have a 15,000? I think I do. Right? Pretty sure I do. Because that's what I have to use here, is at least a 15,000. There we go. A regimental HQ will do. Because the 10,000 would technically still have you suffering the ill effects of being over your size. Not by much, but you'd still be over. It would have hurt, at least a little bit. So slightly more expensive by about 6 cost. And now let's, this time I'm serious, guys. You're going to actually finish these. Trust me. Did I turn on your active sensors? I thought I did, but I might not have. Oh, no, I did. Okay, now the question is, do you have any other ships? I think if you did, we probably would have detected them. So I'm inclined to say you don't. And we should be able to take care of a Tekka all by its lonesome. So I'm not going to ship the fleet out. This STO will potentially take more damage. I have no problem admitting that. It will likely take some additional damage. But that doesn't really matter. They are attacking our... Yeah, I'm gonna have to take care of that, though. They are attacking the terraforming stations. So we did no, that's actually our thing that got destroyed. Never mind. Okay, strength has apparently increased. And then decreased. What? Okay, well that's destroyed. Now I need to go and pick up those survivors. So, out of curiosity though, just to see, when are these supposed to finish? Don't know. November some year and January some year. Somebody did mention in the comments I could change the Windows date format. Certainly true, I could. I believe somebody made an add-on or mod or whatever that is just for this game that would effectively have it act as if you change the Windows date format. I'll be honest, while I would love to be able to see the dates, I don't care enough to go and adjust mine, and I honestly can't find that mod. And I don't even know if it's actually still functioning, if I'm being completely honest. It may not work with this version, for all I know. So rescue survivors there, and then I'm gonna just have you immediately unload them, because there's no reason for you to keep them. But I don't actually have the option to tell you to unload them until after you pick them up. And where is my salvage fleet? Got a job for you. I need you to grab both of those and then head here. Okay. I'm not actually 100% certain if our carriers... Okay, no, they are. I was going to say, I'm not 100% certain if our carrier strike groups are actually fast enough to be able to get there in time. But they are. They have 2 days to get here. And those life pods are going to be good for another 8 days. Okay, wonderful. We managed to rescue the lieutenant commander in charge of the station. Now, what I'm going to have you do is just immediately drop these guys off here because I do not have an interest in carrying them. So, unload survivors here. And then head back to Earth. Also, I'm going to tell you to turn off your active sensors because you don't need them anymore. Unrest is rising on Mars again due to overcrowding, because it's always overcrowding. You are having problems, so I need you to go ahead and refuel and resupply. Your MSP has dropped down quite a bit. Salvage Fleet. Oh, and I actually forgot to start my timer. So let's do that. This is gonna be a bit of a longer part because I didn't adjust it at all. That's fine. Unload all ship components. You shouldn't have any installations. It's interesting that that shows up as an option. Yeah, just unload all minerals. Where is that? Unload all minerals. Okay, completed. Earth, here we go. Railguns, beams. This we are going to... Well, no, that's probably sensitivity 8, isn't it? That would be way behind us if that is sensitivity 8. I'm going to disassemble one just to double check. Yeah, okay. And just scrap it. For the little bit of wealth and minerals, scrap that. Magnetic mirror. Unless I'm misremembering, that's an older tech. But I don't know all the stuff ins and outs. Yeah, magnetic mirror is an older tech, so scrap that as well. Rest of that can all stay because we do potential. Actually, the ECM, I don't think we do. I think I updated the ECM on these, right? Yeah. We're going to actually scrap the ECM and ECCM because those are actually useless. Do I have auxiliary control on any of our stuff? I don't think I do. Usually I would, but as a result of, size requirements and whatnot, I haven't. And that would be true. I don't have that, so we're going to... I disassembled one just on the off chance I actually didn't have it researched. I figured I probably did, and I could have checked before doing it, but it doesn't really matter because it's worth basically nothing anyway. Okay, and then yeah, the rest of that stuff can all stay. Wrong thing, wanted to pull this up. Now the question is, do I tell Earth to go ahead and build me a new terraforming station to replace the one that got destroyed? And the answer is probably yes, because why not? So let's do that. Earth, build me one more of these. Thank you very much. I am actually going to go and say, you know what? Let's design some new missiles. It's been a while. We're still running around with our original missiles. We will continue to use those on our current primary fleet, but the new... the quick reaction force is not going to use that. So first things first, I need to roughly try to figure out how fast the enemy ships are. And the fastest we have ever seen a ship move, in the case of the Raiders, is 4,500. Well, a little over, but we'll just round. GL Virginis is capable of about 8,500, which I don't think we can reliably achieve. Oh no, I guess we can. It is technically possible. One thing I do need to double check though is that my fuel consumption is set to the right value, and it is, okay. That is a fairly important little bit of information. I mean, I could just keep using my current missiles. They are sufficient, if I'm being completely honest. I think it's just a question of, well, you know what? Let's just say completely redesign them. Literally create a missile that is the exact same, but with newer tech. And let's compare that. Missiles don't show size in tons, so the new missiles, if I were to basically just straight up recreate the Pax Imperium anti-ship missile, is about double the speed of 87,500 kilometers a second, and significantly more range at 41 million kilometers as opposed to the 20.1. Now, 41 million kilometers is more range than our current missile fire control is capable of, because that's only capable of about 25, which is why I had a desired minimum range of 25 listed here inside of our little utility. Now, it doesn't hurt to use a missile that has more actual range than I can fire. I could design a new missile control, but it also allows this missile to be a little bit more future-proofed. I think to an extent, one thing I kind of am curious about is what happens if I say I want a warhead strength that matches my current warhead strength per MSP, which is 8. I get just a little bit over my current missile fire control's range. I get still more speed than my current missile. Where is it? There it is. By about 26,000 kilometers a second, which is still quite a bit. If we're being honest here, it really is. And each one of these missiles will do 8 radiation damage. And they're inherently fired in large volleys. The question is just whether or not that actually matters. And I think the biggest thing is that that would probably be most important if I were to design like strike fighters that carried a couple of missiles. Because they would actually do more damage. Because they're not going to have as large of a volley. That's the main thing, is that strike fighters would maybe only have 2 missiles each. If I were to give them size 8 missiles. I could have given them smaller missiles, but then those also inherently just have less capability as well. And of course, it's also another munition that I have to maintain. So that's not exactly a fun thing per se. Which is one of the reasons why I'm sticking with size 8 missiles. They are sort of the lowest you can go and still have very viable anti-ship missiles. The main thing for me is just whether or not there is a big difference in effectiveness with 8 warheads or 1. And I think the big thing is that because I fire them in volleys, at least from my ships, is that 1 warhead is more than sufficient. Because there's 50 from each of our guided missile destroyers, and if I recall correctly, I believe it's 100 from the cruiser. Yes, the cruiser has 100 of these systems. So, yeah. You know what? I think if I do this, it's going to be basically just rebuilding our current one. I think that's what I'm going to do, is I'm going to just basically rebuild our current one. And I don't really need 8,500. And also I would realistically need to round up a little bit so they actually have more speed than the GL Virginis guys. But those things were small enough that I'm pretty sure my fighters are more than sufficient to take care of them. At least those craft. If those guys build anything larger, my missiles should at least be more than capable of catching up. So we're going to go ahead and just stick with a tried and true target speed of 4,500. That makes zero difference in actuality, of course, because that's just how this all works. Interestingly, that is, yeah, no. So yeah, no, I'm going to set this to 25. You know what? We'll round it up, actually. We'll set it to 26, so it's a little bit more. Do I want to do that? No, we'll just rebuild our current ones. They're more than sufficient, honestly. We are going to slightly rename them, however. They're going to be the Rim 41, or 841s. The reason for this is just a simple, easy naming convention. Admittedly, I don't actually recall what the R is for. But whatever. But the 841 is simply size and then range. Nice, easy naming convention, like I said. We're also going to go ahead and remove the nickname because it's not needed. So, Escarina Mackenzie has designed a new anti-ship missile for us to start using in the future. It's still a little ways out there. And of course, I'll have to research those, and that'll be a little while before we actually get around to it. Oh, are we still transporting the, Did we finish transporting the... I think we did. Let's double check. Alpha Centauri under civilian. Do you have a research station? You do not. Wonderful. That means you guys should be not doing that anymore. Head back to Earth and just relax and then load some infrastructure. Where is infrastructure? Do I not have any more infrastructure? I don't have any more infrastructure. Oh, no, I do. There we go. It's at the very bottom. Unload. Well, you know, no. Just get to Earth first, and then we can adjust your commands. October 21. Is this? Well, yeah, you guys weren't actually supposed to cycle those orders. Exploration 2 has finished getting more fuel. Wonderful. You know what? You're close enough, actually, to where you should probably be doing a overhaul. So go ahead and begin your overhaul now. Okay, Cargo Group 1 has completed its orders. Go to Earth. Grab infrastructure. Unload it at Mars and repeat that. We will... Well, first, I'm going to also tell you to refuel and resupply every time, just to make sure you don't run into fuel issues. And then I'm going to tell you to repeat this 6 times is fine. Yeah. That should last Mars for a decent little bit of time. And now we just wait. Okay, they completed their orders. Mars, you should be set until 42. Now, out of curiosity, what is Mars's actual max? 3,000? 410. So, you know, theoretically, it's capable of supporting, that's like 3.4 billion people. Yeah, you still got a ways to go until you're anywhere near there. How's my research doing? Are we anywhere near getting that mining stuff? Because that's the big thing for me. We should be getting that, it looks like December of this year. Wonderful. Next time the game pauses, I need to remember to go ahead and check out the moon. Check and see how it's doing. Some AI is doing something funky out there. It's the reason why it's incrementing at only about 2 minutes or so. Some AI out there has its fire control going. I think the AI is fighting. I do have it set that the NPRs can encounter the raiders, so it's possible that a raider spawned in one of the NPR territories, and as a result, they're duking it out. And we just kind of have to put up with this much smaller increment time. But at least it's automatic, so it's not too bad. But hopefully they sort out whatever the hell issue it is that they got going on. Because, yeah, that's a little slow for my liking. So, Luna, environment. How's your temperatures adjusting? Okay, they're all within expectations. I forgot to actually check to see what the gas is for bringing down max temp. Mars needs to go up by like a metric ton. So we'll have to check that out. Same with Siceti. Both of them need to go up quite a lot in terms of temperature. Holy shit. I don't know what the fuck kind of fight the AI got going on, but they got something going on out there. Hopefully they sort it out. Like, seriously, it's gone on significantly longer than I would have expected. Is this a knife fight? It must be. Are they duking it out with, like, crappy low-tier railguns? Because NPRs, the way the game works is that, well, at least my understanding, is that when you discover one, they basically are advanced automatically to a certain tech level dependent upon your, or how long the game has been running, rather. I don't think it matters how tech advanced you are. The only thing that matters is how long the game has been running. If it's been running 1,000 years before you encounter an NPR and you just haven't really bothered researching anything, then that NPR is going to have super advanced technology. Just, out of curiosity, while we wait for all this stuff to hopefully sort itself out, Jesus. How is the Sorium doing on Uranus? It's going. It is, the important bit. And height comets game. I don't care for comets. Okay, wow, this fight. Holy crap. I'm going to tell you to just not increment. No, you don't give a crap about my orders. Okay then, never mind. We're just going to get stuck dealing with this. Has it been a couple of days now? I don't know. I feel like it has been. I really do. I don't know what fight they got going on out there, but it is taken forever to complete. Whoever it is that's fighting. I mean, it's not any of our stuff that we got to worry about, at least. So that's a nice thing, I guess. Oh, damn. I really want to know where this fight is. I honestly do. You know what? I am actually going to turn on Space Master just so we can see all events. Because somebody's fighting. And I don't know who. Okay, it looks like the game does not care about me actually having turned on events all races. That is completely irrelevant to my desires, according to the game. So I actually cannot see the fight going on, which is kind of a shame. That was the whole reason why I just turned it on for a second to see who the hell's fighting and where. So we just kind of get stuck waiting for this one to finish. And it's going. It's going as slow as it possibly can, I swear. Holy crap. Yeah, so just as a sort of heads up for anyone who doesn't know this, the more deep space tracking stations you have on a planet, the more range it has. Do I think that makes a ton of sense? I'm going to be honest, not really. But I imagine there are diminishing returns because it's the only explanation for why Earth only has about double its sensor range of all the other regions, considering that it has 4 times the sensor array, or the sensors of everything else. Because if we head off to something like Siceti, we only got 209 range, but those each only have a single sensor. Earth is managing to achieve a range of 418 million kilometers of sensor detection on passives against a 1,000 signature target. What's it able to do against a 10,000? 661 million kilometers. Hot damn. Generally, I use 100. I find it's a good enough number for most things. In which case, Earth only does about 132, which is still significantly more than any of our ships are capable of. But that's largely because I haven't upgraded our passive sensors in ages. And by ages, I mean ever. I literally designed them once and then just kind of said, man, that's fine. I could design some new ones, 9.3. But is it really worth designing a whole new sensor for an extra million kilometers? I don't really think it is, if I'm being completely honest. Especially for passives. I'm going to be honest, I really don't think that's worthwhile. Now, it might be worthwhile at some point designing some new active sensors. This fight is never ending, isn't it? I'm almost inclined to pause the recording while we wait for it to finish, and I will probably literally just step away until it finishes and the game decides the next time it's going to pause on its own is when we will return. Because yeah, whatever this is, it's doing its thing, and it's just not really moving. Is that an asteroid you guys got something on? Yeah, it is. Okay. So I'm like, why the hell is there a random sensor there? Yeah, I think that's what I'm going to end up doing is I'm going to go ahead and pause the recording in just a moment while we wait for this, whatever the hell it is, to finish. So I will see you all in a moment because it's a little hard to do anything when everything is going at about 2-minute increments. And especially when it's not something that's doing it as a result of my actions. It's one thing if I'm doing 2-minute increments as I wait for the enemy to approach or for my missiles to make contact or whatever the case may be. That's not the case here, though. So something is just going as slow as it can. Whatever the fight may be, I don't know. Because I'm not allowed to see that information. And you know what? Since it's July and we're at 50% progress on our guided missile destroyers, I think we're going to be getting those this year, actually. And this January is for January of next year, which is great. But yeah, like I said, I'm going to go and pause the recording while we wait for whatever the hell this is to finish. And I'll see you guys the next time the game auto pauses, which probably won't be too long after. But until then, hello everybody, and welcome back after that pause. So what I'm just going to go ahead and do, because I've let this probably run for a good half hour or so now, and it is, it's still going at this rate. So what I think I'm just going to do is I'm going to go ahead and just end this part here for sake of making my life a bit easier. And I'll just sort of let this run overnight, and hopefully at some point while I am sleeping, it will actually, finish whatever the hell it is that is causing us to be stuck with this roughly 2-minute increment for time progression. So, yeah. So I'm going to go ahead and, like I said, I think just sort of end this part here, and I will see you all next time, which will probably be sometime in the future. Not quite sure exactly how long it's going to have to run like this, but at some point, we will get back to actually being able to do 1 day, 5 day, etc. increments. But that's going to be a little while. I mean, decent amount of time has passed. This was, I think, at something like 2% or maybe 3% when we went away, I believe. It's now at 8. That's just how many days have ticked by in roughly the past half hour of just doing roughly 2-minute intervals. And this is partly evidenced by, if I scroll up, if it's still here, it might not be now. Here we go. We've gotten, some of these. Actually, no, I think this is, no, never mind, that's the old one. Where's the most recent? That was before it started incrementing. Here we go. So, I mean, we've gotten, full-on days passing by. It's July 31st right now. This whole thing started, looks like the 20th. It's basically been running 11 days in 2-minute intervals. Yeah. So yeah, what I'm just going to do, like I said, gonna end this part here. It's gonna be a bit of a shorter part. Usually these are about an hour long. This one's only gonna be about 40 or so minutes. I will see you all next time, where, like I said, we will be some point in the future, and hopefully the 2-minute increments will have finally ended. Whatever is causing it will be over. Hopefully. But until next time, quick reminder, if you want to stay up to date with the channel, my go-to place for posting about the channel is my Discord server. You can find a link to that down in the description. And yeah, so I will see you all next time. Until then, goodbye and farewell.